So today I have a very unique knife that I just got in a trade. There's a couple different directions I can go with this knife because there's so much going on here and a lot of things I haven't discussed before on the channel, such as this is a lever lock, which we're going to talk or focus mainly on in this channel. But this one specifically is made by, I should say, for AKC. AKC is Automatic Knife Creations is the company, but the actual physical company that made this for that company is Massaro of Italy. All right, but it is obviously marked as an AKC lever lock knife. So this is an automatic knife, and if you've never seen that before, there's a piece right here, okay, that's just folded down. You fold it back. All right, now this is your button to automatically open the knife, which is very cool. And then once opened, it also locks. All right, whether this is up or down, it doesn't matter. So how this actually functions is there's a leaf spring in here, all right? So if you looked inside, it would come up and then over, all right? And then as you're closing the knife here, you have to push that back down to close it, all right? You're gonna feel the tension build up. So as you're pushing this, what's happening is that leaf spring is being bent all the way back, you know, creating tension. And then at some point, there's a pin that goes down into the blade that holds it, all right? That's how it actually stays shut. So when you flip this over, what you're doing is I'm gonna hold the blade in, but you're pivoting this, which is lifting that pin. So once you get to a certain point, when the pin is lifted, the blade is free to open. And then that spring pushes forward quickly and shoots the blade out. All right, very, very cool. Now the lever action design is quite old. I believe the first patent, at least from what I've seen from my quick research, was 1897. There's been numerous companies that has used this automatic style mechanism. One of the major ones out there would probably be Hubertus of Germany. I believe ever since like 1932 and on, they've made hundreds of different lever lock type automatics. It's a very classic, German and or Italian automatic knife style. All right, hundreds of different, or I should say thousands of different models from probably dozens, if not hundreds of different companies. From super nice to super cheap. But that is the lever lock. All right, that's how it works, that's how it functions. Super cool, very unique within itself. Flip that over, shoot it out. Now it's locked up and ready to go. All right, then to release it again, put that back and close it till it clicks. Now what makes this extra unique is this particular one happens to have shot puller bolsters. So if you notice, these bolsters are kind of hooked in like horns, and these actually serve as shotgun shell pullers, all right, which is a tool which would accompany, let's say, a side-by-side shotgun. So you see on one side it says CL12, and the other side says CL16. So this side is for 16 gauge shotgun shells, and the other side is for 12 gauge. Now I have a snap cap here in 12 gauge just to show how this works. So basically, if you have your break action, shotgun, you take your shot, you break the action, but it doesn't eject. Whether it has automatic ejection or not doesn't really matter. But let's say, once you take your shot, that explosion expands the plastic and sometimes part of the, the base of the round itself. And if it gets kind of lodged in there, sometimes it's hard to grab to pull out. Especially the older shotguns that didn't have the automatic ejection. All right, so you boom, boom, you take your shots, you break your shotgun open, you have to reach in, and usually they're pulled out just a little bit when you open it, so you use your fingers to pull them out, and then you obviously load more. But sometimes it's really tight, so instead of trying to yank with your fingers, that's what this is made for. All right, so let's take the 12 gauge size, because that's the shell that I have here, and this literally slips over the top, just like so, and now I have a tool that I can use to extract or pull out that stuck shell. So super cool. Now this bolster style was used on a variety of different knives, not just lever action autos, but all kinds of different folders. But yeah, I mean that's what makes this particular one super unique and very special. This is going to go into my unique knife collection for a variety of different reasons. It's actually the first lever lock that I've had for a long time, and I always want to do a video on. Every time I get one in a trade or something happens where it gets sold or traded back off. And I definitely wanted to make sure I did a video on it this time. So super cool knife design, super historic, and super useful as well. Now, another quick random tidbit that I've learned is that automatic knives, way back when, were originally created for women. Because as we know, traditional pocket knives would usually have a nail nick in the blade, and women did not like breaking their nails. So that's how the creation of automatic knives came to place, is it was made for women. Pretty interesting, right? Now this particular one has natural horn handle scales on here. And if you notice, it looks a little unfinished, like they're just blocky scales that are, you know, matched up to the frame, but they're not really, you know, contoured to the bolsters. That's totally normal. All right, it just looks like it's unfinished. Like, okay, now that you have this, you go back and kind of sand this down and everything, you know, knock off those corners or angle it or something. But that is actually an extremely common, you know, sight for these style knives. Some of the Hubertus ones, they will be angled a little bit more finished or whatever. But like I said, if you happen to get one of these and you're like, hey, what's the deal? They didn't finish it. No, it's just really, really common. But yeah, other than that, pretty basic design here. So we're working with a leaf spring on the inside and a pin system that connects with the blade. So, I mean, just super cool, historic piece. Absolutely love it. Let me open it back up again so I can show you the markings here. You see this one on the blade. Again, there we go, AB Italy. Rust free, which just means rust free. And the reverse, there's no markings. Razor sharp. This one happens to be in 440C. Stainless steel, 3 1/4 inches on the blade, and overall 7 7/8 inches. But again, these lever lock autos, they come in a variety of different blade styles, different steels, different sizes overall, different handle materials or scale materials, bolster designs. You know, like I said, this one's a little unique, having the you know, shot shell pullers. But you know, just have flat bolsters, it's all kinds of stuff. Everything you can imagine. So if this seems like something cool and new to you and you've never seen this before and you want a lever action or lever lock automatic, there are a ton on the market. This particular one, this exact one, sells for about $125 or so. So there is a ton of different versions of lever lock automatics. I mean, I want to say it's also an AKC, but it might be Hubertus I've seen before. For like 250 bucks, you can get a full Damascus blade, beautiful abalone, you know, style, you know, scales on there, or mother of pearl or something. So even like the really, really nice high-end versions of these knives are still pretty reasonable compared to, you know, what people are paying for today's modern tactical frame locks, you know. But really, really interesting. And you can get them all the way as cheap as, like, let's say 70 bucks. Generally speaking, they're not going to be less than that. Most models are around 80 to like 130, in that ballpark. But just really, really cool, interesting knives. Very, very useful. And just, I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, if you've never seen this before and you're interested in it, just do a search. Again, you can look up AKC specifically, or you can look up Hubertus, or you could just Google lever lock automatic. Actually, before I go, because I know some of you guys will be curious what I traded for this knife, I actually did a 2 knife for 2 knife trade. So it's this knife and another one, which is a blast from the past, which you guys will see in the future. But essentially what I traded for this was that cleaver folder, which, to be honest, I did not want to get rid of. The person had contacted me through Instagram and said, hey, I never thought I'd want a cleaver folder until I saw your video, now I want yours. And I'm like, well, it's gonna take something pretty special to get that away from me because I really want to keep it. They showed me a picture of this with some other knives and I immediately gravitated towards this. I'm like, I have to have that, not only for a video, but for my collection. Just super cool. But yeah, so if you're curious what I traded for, it was that, that cleaver knife. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.